Hello, it is Deborah, and today I want to talk about celebration. So, we know, neurologically speaking, that when we celebrate something, we release a bunch of feel good chemicals in our brain known as dopamine. And a lot of people don't actually celebrate things. They move from thing to thing to thing on their to do list. And it looks like this. Let me know if this resonates for you. So you've got a huge long to-do list. We all do, especially people who are entrepreneurial and they're in business for themselves, because we've got a ton of stuff that we're doing because we're building our businesses and we love it. So you've got your long to-do list and you do one thing on it, you cross it off the list, and then you move on to the next thing. And you don't even give yourself time to say, wow, I did it, yay, even if it's just I sent an email, or I had a conversation, or I uncluttered my office, or whatever it is. We don't celebrate it. So that's one thing that we do, is we just do stuff, cross it off the list, move on to the next thing. We're just in do mode, right? And we don't stop to actually give ourselves permission to celebrate that we just did something. The second thing that we do, and the reason I'm making this video is because I am having this experience right now, which is that you do something awesome, and then instead of celebrating it, you start berating yourself and you start saying things like, well, I should have done it sooner, or I could have done it better, or I made a little mistake, or I had a typo, or I was 5 minutes late, or, we are so great at finding fault. And here's the beautiful thing about finding fault, is that that's how we're wired. That's what our brains are built to do. And when we understand that our brains are just built to find fault, that keeps us safe, it's really very liberating, because the next thing that happens when you realize that you're doing it is that you get to be on yourself, and you get to realize, I'm doing that thing that I'm wired to do, which is great, and now I get to celebrate. And that's what your brain will do. Your brain basically is looking to keep you safe. That's its number one job. And your brain is like the best bodyguard ever. And I'm not talking really about your brain, I'm talking about your nervous system. It's the best bodyguard ever. It's like a really big, really handsome, really ripped bouncer. And he's there to keep you safe. And I'm saying he because that's the way I lean. So, think about it. You've got this super awesome dude who's always looking over your shoulder, and he's always got your back, and he's always making sure that nothing is going to hurt you, right? So you get to actually love your nervous system when it shows up and says, hey, that might not be safe for you. The second thing that your brain does after keeping you safe is it wants to conserve energy. And if you're one of those kids like I was, who ran around turning all the lights off in the house and unplugging all the appliances and stuff because you were worried about running out of energy, then, you get it. Your brain is just doing its job. And, maybe that's also on a subconscious level why I am making this video today, because, there's something that happened in the political arena around energy conservation that I have a lot to say about, and I won't do it in this video. But I am thinking a lot, I guess, about energy conservation, and that's something that I value. And saving the planet and having a beautiful place to live for generations to come is something I feel very, very strongly about. And it's one of the reasons why I do what I do, is so that I can contribute to saving the environment in the little ways that I can. So anyway, your brain's second job is to conserve energy. So where was I going with this? The reason that your brain wants to conserve energy is it wants to keep you safe, and you save energy when you just stay on the familiar path, because it is and the energy conservation state, believe it or not, actually is in fear. If you're used to being in fear all the time, if you're used to constantly judging and being in anxiety and overreacting and being manic and just living in a very kind of high-strung way, that's your habit, right? It's like you got fire trucks hanging out in your driveway 24/7 and they're ready. And if that's how your nervous system is wired, based on your habitual thoughts and beliefs and actions, that's what you get. So why am I talking about celebration? Because when you teach your nervous system that it's not actually in danger, the third thing your nervous system is wired to do is be curious. So Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I love hearing that I'm right on target. Thank you. It's an amazing thing about doing these Facebook Live videos, and sometimes I don't do them live because I don't have live wireless. But, you know, anything that I share, it always resonates with someone, and it's very reassuring to know that I'm not the only one. And of course I'm not the only one, right? That's the brain going out and creating separateness, right? And saying, oh, it's just you're a freak, you're weird, you're blah, 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 and nobody else is. And it's so great. Like, that's one of the really great things I'm discovering about these Facebook Lives, is that we're all feeling the same stuff, because we are all really just mirrors of each other when you get right down to it. We're just pulsating energy and we resonate with each other. So anyway, so the third thing about the brain is that it's curious. So after it's made sure that you're not in mortal danger, and after it's made sure that it has plenty of energy to go out and do whatever it wants to do, like it takes more energy to be in creativity and curiosity and compassion and exploration. Once the brain has made sure that it's done its job, then it's going to be curious. And when you can be curious, then you can really have a lot of fun. And so that's why I want to talk about celebration, because when we're constantly beating ourselves up for, I should have done it better, I should have done it sooner. I had a moment this morning because the brain training series that I just put together, and it's been running for a month, and people have been totally loving it. I've been getting just the most amazing thank you notes about how valuable this content is and how people are having amazing breakthroughs, and what an incredible group of experts I've assembled. We're talking about everything from neuroscience to energy frequency and law of attraction, psychology, meditation, mantra, all kinds of stuff about how do you train your brain. We're starting the replay period today, and I've decided to rerun every single interview every day for free, so you can see all of them. You can catch up on all the ones you missed. If you want to forward it to your friends and your colleagues and your family and get them to watch some of the videos, I've decided to make it available because people keep asking me, even people from, like, I don't know them, some people have written to me from time zones that are like, 17 hours ahead. So when I say the video is up for 72 hours and they write me and they're like, please, won't you leave it up for longer, because I only have 60 hours to watch it. So anyway, I've made this whole replay series available for another 4 days. And my team was messing with the replay page, and for 30 seconds, only 30 seconds, there was a handful of people who got in and tried to access the replay and they couldn't. And I just beat myself up, and then I realized that is so silly. Like, the content's available, they just need to refresh their browser and then it's all good to go. So anyway, I really want you to celebrate something today. And what I am celebrating right now today is that I've hosted and organized an amazing month of brain training interviews with really incredible coaches. People like John Assaraf, founder of NeuroGym, Dr. Srini Pillay, who just wrote a book called Tinker, Dabble, Doodle, Try, How to Harness the Power of Your Unfocused Mind, or something like that. It's close to that. Really, really great book about the neuroscience of daydreaming and doodling. Kendra Thornberry, an amazing, amazing spiritual business coach whom I worked with for a year, and she really helped me develop my business immensely. Margaret Lynch, the tapping coach, I worked with her, and I'm a certified tapping coach, and I bring that into the coaching that I do. So she's been a great influence. She was one of the people that we heard from. Emily Otter, another one, really awesome strategy coach, and she's also been really instrumental. Actually, she's the one who put me up to this interview series in the first place, because it's all well and good to be super creative and super spiritual and make everything up according to your heart's desire, which is, I'm very, very good at that, as you guys have seen. And I also really need some strategy and some guidance and some good entrepreneurial practical steps about what do you do next. And, that's another really important piece. Sometimes we get confused because we just don't know stuff. And we're in a foreign land and we're learning something new. For me, being an entrepreneur is totally new. Even though I've been doing it for over 20 years, I wasn't doing it in a way that was sustainable until the last couple of years. And that's because I've really started to implement strategies that work for me. And I've also done a ton of mindset stuff so that I'm no longer playing those games of I get to be invisible and I don't get to make mistakes, and nobody's gonna like me, and I'm a people pleaser, and I've worked through all that stuff, and that's super helpful to be able to just stand in your truth and deliver your message, because you all have a message or you wouldn't be watching, and you all also probably are on the entrepreneurial path or you wouldn't be watching. So that's what I want to share with you today. Go out and celebrate. Whatever it is that you've done, celebrate. Because guess what happens when you celebrate? You release dopamine in the brain, and dopamine is one of those feel-good chemicals. It's part of the brain's reward system, and when you complete something, we want to be rewarded. We want to be acknowledged, and a lot of us, one of our deepest wounds is that we weren't acknowledged. So I just want you to catch yourself and notice, are you also not acknowledging yourself? Oh, thank you. Mwah. I love you. Thank you so much for that. I love your comment, Wendy. So if you're not acknowledging yourself, then you're unwittingly doing to yourself what you feel like other people have been doing to you, which means you're probably projecting that, which means you're probably creating that environment, which is going to perpetuate the feeling of not being acknowledged. We all want to be acknowledged. We all want to be loved. We all want to be validated. That is part of being human. And actually, I think it's just part of being animal. I have a dog, and I've always had a dog, and I've also had cats, and they love to be petted. They love to be kissed. They love to be talked to. Also, my plants love to be talked to, and they love it when I stroke their leaves, and the rose bushes love it when I talk to them. Everything wants acknowledgement, really. So there's nothing wrong with it. You're not needy. You're just being, a human being in a spiritual body, really, is what we get right down to. So celebrate yourself, because you deserve it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're part of the Master Your Money Mindset series, awesome. Dive in, dig into that treasure trove, and take whatever you want with you. All those downloads are available. All those interviews are available. And if you want to share it with your friends and your colleagues, please do send them over to moneymindsetseries.com, and I will hook them up. Have an awesome day, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah.